This is some, what do you call it, a toy for children. It's a crane. The problem is the front wheels don't steer very well. You can left and right. This is the engine that controls it with some gears. And the problem is the gear is not connecting very well to the axis. It's slippery, and that's the main problem. I don't know if it's to see very well. Let's have a focus on it, try. But here on this side there is a little slit. It has broken there. That's why it does not fix itself very tight onto the axis. So the only solution is maybe trying to glue it, but I don't believe that. Probably you should find a new gear. In this video you can see it much better that it is. There's a split in here. I tried to use super glue to glue it together, but it then broke down because it was already very brittle. So I finally bought myself a box, a plastic bag of all kinds of gear, with the right one in it, 2mm axis and 8 teeth. I put it on the motor shaft and reinstalled it, and look, it now works perfect. But these two knobs do nothing. Something should go lifting up the arm, or let it go down or up. Nothing happens. We then remove these 3 screws and put them in box 6. This wire is going inside here, so in, and it's ending up somewhere here. Below that, I think there's some engine or so. I don't think that it is useful to remove these 2 screws, but we will still do that. And we put them in the box 7. Just use a hammer and a screwdriver to tick on the axis, and the axis will then fall out. This piston you could manually pull in and out, but it's very heavy. So maybe I have to lubricate it with oil or silicone, whatever. Also use the screwdriver to kick out the small axis that is holding the piston. Managed to get the piston out of this. So I couldn't find my silicone, you call it oil. So I use this 40-year-old sewing machine oil, cycle oil. And then I rubbed it fast many times, and now it's smoothly moving in and out. Here's the engine that pulls up the wire. 2 screws I will put in box 9 and 10. In 9 and 8 there are the axes. Remove these 2 screws from the compartment and put them in box 11. This is how it looks inside. When measuring the resistance, I at first removed the batteries, otherwise it is influenced at 1.4 ohms, but if I turn the wheel axis, I get different readings. As in another project, I had the same problem, because the motor was long time not used. There is some corrosion or oxidation. So maybe I can put a power on the motor from an external power source. First I have to desolder one of the leads. You can see I set the power supply to 0.1 volts, limited to 50 milliamps. It draws 42 milliamps. I go up 0.2, it goes into the 50 milliamp limit. So I will try to upgrade the current. 150, it takes 150, 250. Now it goes down to 50, stays at 50. I go to the power, and look, it's turning. I connected both wires that go to the motor to my voltmeter. When I push the left button, I see -3 volts. I push the right button, it doesn't, but sometimes I have to press hard, but it doesn't do anything. Left button -3, plus button, not sure. It can be that the button itself is defective, or that the final transistor or driver is not okay. I push and pull the wire while pressing the right button. I see between 0 and 3.3 volt, so I think something is defective in the controller here. First I resoldered the wire, left button, right button, nothing. But when I do this, it still doesn't. But I will open this console and check what's going on. The console has 6 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I put them in box 12. When we look inside, we see that 2 screws have a hold-off cylinder. We put them for as long in box 13. I think this console has once been damaged because these hold-offs are broken off from the underlying bottom. Maybe I can try to fix it. Just look how these wires are taped on the case. So this wire of the left button makes contact of the right side. This wire and the inner other green wire should make contact to this, and it doesn't. Also not here. So something is here in this elbow, or something here is broken. What I can do, instead of shortening the wire with 20 centimeters, I could open the wire here, find the green wire and make a connection from here to there, and put this part of the wire inside the console. Not sure that was right what I told. There's only one green wire to the car. So I have to remove those screws and look what's on the PCB. Put the screws in box 14. There is literally no electronics on this board, only 2 switches. I measured the on resistance of both switches. They seem very fluctuating. They are directly connected to the batteries, connecting plus or minus to the engine. So I used contact spray to clean it up very well. Also the battery holder I cleaned up, but some contacts were corroded. If I put them left, right, left, right. So I don't think it's the problem in the wire. It was when I was moving, I always moved my finger on the knob and it made less or more resistance. So I hope when I close it that it still will work. Simply moved the knot in the wire a little bit more ahead so that the thing I had opened stays inside the console. Try to connect these cylinders to the case. First I use this glue, glue them. Then I use my soldering iron to melt the case and the cylinder together, more or less. And then finally I use this glue pistol to engulf it in glue. So I hope this will hold these things together. But they were already defective before I started to repair. I could see that, but there are so many screws you hardly can, you don't find it that it is a little bit loose. You don't recognize it. In closing the console, the white wire was stuck, and now is it disconnected. The engine forward, reverse did not work, so I'll have to repair it. Let's to repair it, and now we will carefully close the console. Well, finally it all works. You can go forward, he make noise from the speaker. He can backwards, he can go to the right, forward, left, all lights in front are lighting up, and we can go down with the angle, or we can go up. So everything is working for 100%. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Repair Café Dalfsen in the Netherlands.